Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to turn my sunflower applique into a granny square. For this project you just need to have one of these sunflowers made, and I will link the video tutorial for that down below in the description box. Once you have your sunflower made, we can go ahead and create the shell stitching around the sunflower, and then you'll have a textured sunflower granny. I am using a 5mm crochet hook and just 4-weight acrylic yarn. Once you have made one of these sunflower appliques, turn it over. You can find those chain spaces all the way around. In those chain spaces, we are going to work our granny shells to create the granny square. You're going to want to grab your background color and start with a slip knot on your hook. Grab your sunflower and find any of those chain spaces from the last round of your petals that you did. And you're just going to slip stitch. Here's the front. We're just going to go right in front to back. Grab that working yarn and just slip stitch, and that will join to your chain space. And now we're just going to work a granny shell pattern. So we're going to chain 3 and work 2 double crochets right into that same space. This will be a corner. I'm going to finish the corner when I get back around. In between the shells, so jumping over to this space, I'm going to chain 1. Now I'm going to work 3 double crochets into that next chain. So you're basically skipping this petal here and working into the next chain space. So 3 double crochets into that chain space. We're going to jump to the next one now, so skip this petal, find that next chain space, chain 1, and work 3 double crochets. Make sure those petals stay in the front of your granny shells. This is a corner. For each corner I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to work 3 more double crochets right into that same chain 3 space. And there's our corner. So you can kind of see those shells hiding behind our petals. Chain 1, find the next chain space and work 3 double crochets into it. Chain 1, find the next chain 3 space, work 3 double crochets into it, and this one will be a corner, so we're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into that same chain space. Chain 1, find the next and work 3 double crochets into that next chain space. Chain 1, find your next chain space and work 3 double crochets into it. This will be a corner, so I'm going to chain 2 and work 3 more double crochets right into that same space. I've got 1 more chain space. I'm going to chain 1, work my shell, so 3 double crochets into that space. I'm going to chain 1. I need to jump to this the space that we started in and work the rest of my corner. So 3 double crochets into that space that we started in, and then we can chain 2 and slip stitch. So I'm going to chain 2 to make that corner and slip stitch into the top of my chain 3 that started this granny shell. And you've got 1 round of granny shell. I'm going to go ahead and do another round. I want to get over into this space here. To do that, I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of those next 2 stitches and then into the space. And now I can start my granny shell round. Chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 1, let's skip to the next space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and here we're at a corner. So for a corner I'm going to work 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets all into that same space. And that goes for every corner. So 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets into that same space. You can kind of see the granny shell, granny square forming. Along this side, I'm going to chain 1 to get to the next space, work 3 double crochets, chain 1 into the next space, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then I'll be at my corner. And so for a corner I'm working 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and I'm just going to keep working this around until I get back to where I started my second round of granny shell. So I'm in a corner now. I'm going to finish this last corner. Chain 1 and then slip stitch. I don't have any more spaces left, so I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of my chain 3 that started this round. And there we are. Now if you wanted to add more rounds of granny shell stitching, that is fine. Just depends on how big you want your granny squares to be. I'm going to fasten mine off at this point, so I've only worked 2 rows of the granny shell around this sunflower applique. There's the back. And I love how this kind of puffs out and gives a little bit of texture to a granny square. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Until next time, happy crocheting. Bye!